Certainly in design excellence in the multifamily world, we have the economies of scale and the things that are pushed upon us in terms of density. But what we believe this project sought to do was to respond to the neighborhood. The neighborhood was a very sensitive historic neighborhood recently under the guidelines, and we were the first project that would bridge the neighborhood from the neighborhood to Jefferson Street. Jefferson Street contained a lot of empty lots. So scalability, how we scaled the project, actually stepping the building up, which is part of the guidelines, they were the key to the design. Then how did we mold that design into the streetscape? We think we were the most sensitive in the area of defining each street individually. So each street responded to the scale that was appropriate. That's what we feel was the essence of the design excellence. I think first we have to look at that part of Nashville, Jefferson Street in particular. The MDHA redevelopment district, which was largely ignored, a lot of projects occurred for a 20-year period, and they were really repiecing a patchwork of industrial properties that were along the edge of a historic neighborhood with a wonderful scale. So we think the project, because of its timeline, in other words, this was a project completed around 2010. It was conceived by Bristol Development as early as 2007, site selected. It was a site that would bridge the future of Jefferson Street. That's what we think. We were setting the tone for what the future of Jefferson Street would look like. Early on, Glenn Bartosh with Bristol Development got to know the neighborhood group and found out leaders within the Germantown district that were sensitive to design. He helped get a group together, which when we started the initial meetings, even though we met with historic folks and MDHA and planning, we spent a lot of time in quiet meetings with representatives from the neighborhood, and we listened to them first. Glenn set the tone for that, and then as a developer, he was sensitive to us as designers that when we wanted to respond to a certain aspect, even if it meant fewer units and scaling down the project, he was on board. And then we had their full support when we went to historic, and that we think resulted in the better project.